week here with Anthony Ashnault. I guess it's probably by popular demand. I mean, people are fired up about the show. I don't know if it's you. It's probably not me, or the fact that they're just really bored sitting in quarantine wanting to listen to us. But how you been, man? How's everything going?
It's awesome, man. I mean, making the most out of the situation still. I think maybe it's our special guests that we've been bringing on. You know, we've had some great guys so far, Todd Frazier and Frankie Egger, two Toms River hometown heroes. And I'm excited to hear a little bit about Geo's story today, about where he grew up and maybe what made him decide to come down to New Jersey for college and what he's up to right now. So I think maybe that goes a little bit to why people want us back right now. But it's been fun to chat it up for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The hour goes super, super quick, and my staff's making fun of me. Like, we're supposed to have a call at 1. I'm like, I don't know if I'll be off by 1 because this thing can go on. So it's been awesome. There's a lot to talk about, especially with Geo. You know, I'm excited to hear his feelings about the rack and what it's like to compete in there, both you and him. I'm excited to hear about, you know, where he went with social media. I love hearing about coaches, right? So I want to hear about Pikel and his relationship. All that stuff's good, and just that whole transformation from being, I don't want to say doormat, that's not a fair word, but where that basketball program has come to where they are now is pretty special.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to hear that. And who was the staff when he was getting recruited? Same staff that's there now?
I don't know. That's I mean, I guess Pike's been there 3 years. Yeah, Pike probably recruited him. I'm sure that staff's recruited him. Yeah,
but he grew up looking at a different kind of Rutgers basketball team than he's a part of. So,
yeah, and there's an interesting story. What he told me, very everybody, but when we were doing Midnight Madness, we'll get into it. But just kind of what he told me about just the Block R and wanting to build this thing. So that'll be cool. Let me just give everybody who wants to come on or follow along the fan script here. Remember, you can come and talk with Anthony and I face to face by coming on Fan Cred app, watching the show on air, and pressing the green fan line button. I'd love to see all you guys come on the show. Or if you just have a question you want answered, you know, go in the comments. We already got one. Joe's keep coming back because all those good looks. Valerie, thanks for doing this. The two of you make our Friday so much better. That's all really we're trying to do, and kind of what we started out trying to do. And it's been fun, man. You know, this is tough. This is tough right now. You coming over yesterday was huge for me mentally. I know we talk a lot, but just you being here was awesome for my son.
Yeah.
Those workouts you put us through are really, really hard.
Yeah. And we should be releasing that to the public soon, possibly tomorrow or Sunday, depending on head coach Mike Motives. See what he has to say, and see he makes the edits and stuff as well. So he does a good job. I wait on him. I take the videos, do the workouts, make sure I do a good job, and then he cuts them up, makes them maybe music in the background, or puts like the sets in, writing what workouts we're doing, what kind of exercise we're doing while we're doing it. But me, Coach,
and everybody could do it. Everybody could do them.
Me, Coach Goodale, and Zach did one yesterday, and I don't want to brag, but I won out of all three of us. You're gonna have to tune into the video to see who won, Zach or Coach Goodale. But at Coach Goodale's age, he's still in really good shape, man. He hustled, and even after that workout, we hit 100 reps of what? Rows, biceps, and
shoulders
as well. So
it's hard keeping. You know, I look at you. I'm like, all right, you know what? Olympic athlete, that's going to happen. I'm not going to be able to. But now I see my son, and he's just mentally, it's not good for me to look to the left because he's killing it, and I'm struggling. And I was taking the last 10 seconds of every meeting to collect my ball bearings and kind of get ready for the next minute. So it was hard. Here's a comment, Elliot. Geo was in Coach Pikel's first recruiting class. I thought that. I would love to know if that was like, let's go after a hammer right away. How did Pikel go about that first recruiting class? Was he his number one guy? I'm anxious to hear all that stuff and how that process went. Dude's from New Hampshire. I never in our sport, Ant, when you draw somebody from New Hampshire, you're probably pretty fired up, right?
Yeah, you are. How are they in any other sports?
I've never – this is the only guy I've ever heard. Maybe he has some insight on who else from New Hampshire's made it, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. If rules permit, can you talk a little bit about our JUCO national champ, Boone McDermott? He signed his NLI this morning. That we got that in the mail. So I am able to comment on him. Boone's a national champ, junior college national champ. Had some options out of high school. Went to South Dakota State really, really quick. Bono left. Didn't really take any visits. So he kind of rushed into it, didn't want to do that, so decided to go to Iowa Central, where Pat Downey's from, and, of course, Richie Lewis is from. Took a redshirt year, wrestled last year, won a national title. This is a big Iowa farm boy, just built, thick, very athletic, grew up wrestling lighter weights, 60, 70, 220, and then finally heavyweight. He's a full 220-pounder, so we're excited to get him. And it's a good situation. Anytime you can get some big boys, I think we're bringing in – we'll have some depth at heavyweight next year. There'll be like 5 guys in the room.
From what I hear, too, he's a pretty confident guy. He believes in his abilities.
Yeah, he is very confident. And it's a funny story. He came to the Illinois match. We were in a rut. I don't mind telling this story, and we didn't wrestle great that night. And Illinois has a really, really good team, and I knew from the beginning Illinois would be a tough matchup for us. But we struggled in the first 5 weights, and he was sitting he came down. He's not allowed to be on the bench during the match, so he came down during the middle of it. And after halftime, I came back out to start the second half, and he said, "Man, your boys are out of shape, coach." I was like, "This is perfect right here." He just got in my face and told me that. And then we wrestled Ryder 2 nights later, and I called him. I said, "You saw that? Are we still out of shape?" There's nothing to do. We're in great shape. It's level of competition. So I took that a little personal, but he got right in my face. Good for him. So
for sure.
That's good, man.
Yeah, I love kids like that, honestly. I mean, there's a time and place when to wear that confidence, but no, I think that's a good fit for this Jersey culture, for the rack, for just the environment he's going to be in. He's obviously going to rise to the occasion, and he wants to be in that environment just by that comment. So it's exciting to see what he's going to be able to do here.
Yeah. Let's get I think this may be your dad again, Bill in South Plainfield's backstage. We'll take him real quick before we get Geo on. So
he gets another shot.
Is this Wild Bill? There he is.
What's going on?
I can't hear you, Wild Bill.
Yeah. Can't hear you.
We got audio difficulty.
Audio difficulty. Dang.
Oh, he's off.
Dang.
Maybe he could type in what he wanted to ask.
Yeah.
How's he doing, man? Is it still it's busy? It's busy as heck for him?
Yeah, it's super busy. They're just doing what they can do. Delivering medicine, giving people the medicine they need, and I mean that's it, man. He's busy. He's working for sure, and he's working, I'm sure, more hours than what's on his schedule right now, just making sure the business is running properly, and they need to still be making money too. So it's around the clock for sure.
Just before, I'll give you a quick update on what we're hearing from the university, and I can't go into great detail because all of this is, word got, I guess it was released. Some coaches will take pay cuts. There's going to be cuts across the university, nothing to do with athletics. I don't want that to get spread. No athletics are going to get cut, nothing like that. But there will be. We're already being told to look at our budget from a standpoint of, what we're going to be able to do. But we already started doing that. We kind of know where we're at, and if we can help, we'll certainly help. But you'll see some things happening university-wide. Again, not athletic department-wide. It'll certainly trickle down, I'm sure, at every major institution. But right now, there'll be some university things happening to make cuts. And we actually got a check in the mail. My daughter was a freshman this year. We got a check in the mail back to us, a pretty good amount for her living. Obviously, she wasn't living there in the dorm, so they gave us money back. So, that's probably hitting the university. So you're going to see some cuts going on. Again, we'll all rally from it, and we'll be back to normal soon. But we all understand. I can tell talking to all the coaches, we all understand where we're at, what we need to do going forward. So that's really all I have from an update on that. It's a tough spot, but we'll be good for it. I think Geo's backstage. This should be pretty good. I hope the fans jump on this and get involved in this, and we're fired up to have them.
Yeah, let's
bring them in.
Let's get Geo in here.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
Geo.
Nothing, man. Just nothing much really. It's it's tough times right now, so just trying to stay fit.
You back home in New Hampshire for all this?
Yeah, I am. I'm back home right now. I was in Jersey for a little bit, but with everything going on, it was getting a little crazy in New Jersey, so decided to go back home.
Yeah. So
How far is that?
Say it again.
Go ahead, Ant.
where is that in New Hampshire? Like, where do you live? Like, explain like your environment
So,
in the
all
wilderness.
right, so I'm from Derry, New Hampshire. It's in southern New Hampshire, so it's like 45 minutes from Boston.
Okay. Nice.
Relative location.
I got it. That's my first question for you, Gio. And I'm so pumped that you're on this. First of all, I love watching you play. I love watching you compete. We'll get into all that stuff about the rack and between you and Anthony in the rack and how you felt and the mindset in the rack and all that pretty soon. But I got to ask you how Rutgers, how New Jersey from New Hampshire. We were talking before you came on. I don't really know anybody, any athlete, major athlete from New Hampshire. And I could be naive to the whole thing, but it's crazy for somebody from New Hampshire. It's just different. So how New Jersey, how Coach Peichel, where did that all come from?
Yeah, well, you're definitely right. There's definitely not a lot of guys coming out of New Hampshire. It's a really small state, and no, but there's talent though. That's one thing I'll say. There's definitely talent, and recently it's probably picked up a little bit. My age group, there was definitely a lot of good players. In terms of Coach Peichel, my trainer had actually played for Coach Peichel when he was an assistant at GW. So that's kind of how the connection started. My trainer already knew who Coach Peichel was. They had a good relationship. And basically he reached out and told them that they should come watch me play. So that's kind of how that connection started because, I mean, like you said, I'm from New Hampshire. So, like, he wouldn't have found me in any other way. And so that's kind of how it started. I kind of had some inside information on how Coach Peichel was as a person, not just as a coach, because of that relationship that my trainer had with him. So that helped me be very comfortable with picking Rutgers and picking Coach Peichel.
Cool, man.
Yeah. Were you looking?
Go ahead.
Were you looking anywhere else for schools? Like, did you take any other visits or any other coaches come knocking on your door?
I took some unofficial visits, BU, Boston University, Northeastern, but Rutgers was really the only high major program that had offered me. Kansas State did also, but we didn't have really like constant contact like that. So Rutgers was definitely like the only like very big school that had offered me.
Nice.
Tell me a little bit about, like, I don't know if you know our story, but we had some pretty good teams before Anthony got there. And then when Anthony got there, obviously, with everything he's done and what Sirianno's done and some other guys as well, the program just elevated. Clearly that's happened with you and your class. Talk to us a little bit, and the fans, just a little bit about what it was like year one as a freshman and kind of grind and being, and I used this earlier, I don't mean this in a bad way, but maybe the bottom of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Right? You guys are at the bottom compared to where you are today.
Yeah. When Coach Peichel was first recruiting me, he gave it to me straight. He said, we're at the bottom right now, but that's not where we're going to finish. And, it was that vision that I really believed in. And I'm an underrated guy as it is. So I enjoyed that. I like that challenge. And, everyone who came in, basically how I explained it to them was that we have a chance to be the first ones to do it. And, we have a chance to make history. Like if we do it, then we're remembered forever. So that's kind of how I viewed it. And that first year was tough. I wasn't really used to losing. In high school, I was a winner. It was hard for me. But, it was a struggle that I feel like I had to go through to learn how to win in college. And I feel like that first year really helped me. And, I learned a lot of stuff just by watching, not even what guys were telling me, but, a guy like Corey Sanders, how he handled the pressure of being the best player, just watching him, how he handled it every single game, good games and bad games. I feel like it really helped me when I got put in that position as a sophomore and this past year.
Yeah, man. I mean, to me, it seems like you want the ball a lot at the end of the game, that game-winning shot. Is that because you feel like you're like the guy that's going under the radar a lot of the times, and you feel like you maybe want something to prove, or maybe you're working as hard as you can and you feel like you earned it, and now you want that shot? What comes with that mindset? Where does that mindset come from a little bit, that you want the ball at the end of the game, taking that game-winning shot?
Yeah, it's definitely a big mental thing. At the end of the game, I just like the ball in my hands. I feel like, it's just, I really don't even know how to describe it, but like you said, it's a big mental thing, and having that mindset, starts way before the game. In practice when you're getting shots up by yourself, and you're kind of imagining that big moment, and then when it finally comes, you've already done it. When there's no one in the gym, there's no one there watching. You kind of already made that shot a bunch of times, and when you see that shot goes in, it just feels great, and it just gives you so much more confidence to do it again. And I feel like that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
I think Anthony always tells the story now. He always pictured himself taking the red corner. I think it was the red corner, the story goes, but coming out of the tunnel at the national tournament and visualizing that when he was little, because that's our biggest tournament of the year, obviously, is the national tournament.
Yeah.
And just being in that moment and being in that spot and how that match is going to go. I think you're right. Visualization is huge, and just knowing and having the confidence to do it. And you've probably failed at it a bunch too, right?
Yeah,
You've probably
for sure.
failed and
For sure.
have missed that shot. So speaking of that mindset, what do you think of the Jordan documentary so far?
I haven't gotten a chance to watch it.
What?
You gotta watch it.
Yeah, I know. I have no cable in my house right now, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. And
they don't even have cable up in New Hampshire, huh?
Yeah, we don't have good cable.
No Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I know.
Well,
no, I'm really mad about it. I really got to see it. So,
do you have a hoop out there?
Yeah, I have a little private gym that my friend's been letting me use, and we've been really safe about it. The rules are basically only 2 people in the gym, and they're on opposite sides of the court. No interaction, no rebounding for each other. So it's been safe, and it's been good. It's been really good.
So you've been training, putting balls up. You've been getting.
Yeah, I was listening earlier. I'm not doing the. It sounds like you guys have been training a lot harder than me. Your weightlifting program. So a little skinny, but yeah, I've been training. Trying to just stay fit and staying prepared for whatever happens next.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. I got one more question. With basketball, there's a lot of ups and downs in the game. Loud fans get really loud. Fans are, for the most part, in the big moments, they're loud at home, and the moments that aren't so great, it's kind of quiet. Do you notice the moments that are high, or do you just try to kind of play through them? Because me as a wrestler, it's a very taxing sport. If you let your emotions get too high, too low, it could cost you a match, or it could cost you maybe getting too tired too quickly. And there's moments in my career I could look back and the rack would get really loud and I would get super excited and exert another really big burst of energy and then be exhausted and hanging on to win at the last seconds. And there's other times it got really loud. I was like, cool, I'm going to go hard, but I'm going to just stick with the game plan, keep chopping away. What's your mindset with that, with basketball at the rack?
Yeah, and you kind of talked about it with us when you spoke to us, as a team about that, and it definitely opened my eyes on the whole situation just from that. But I'd say my freshman year, I definitely would get too high on the highs, and I would get too low on the lows. Sophomore year, I got a little bit better at it, and then I really felt like this past year was when I kind of conquered that, where I tried to stay level headed no matter what was going on. And I feel like that was a really big part of, why I helped us win some games. I think that basketball is such a mental sport where you can let things get to your head so easily. And, this past year was the first time where I felt like whether I was playing really well or playing really bad, I still did the other things to help the team win. And I feel like that was probably the most important thing. And I felt like our team across the board, everyone did that. And that's really rare to see in a team, guys. If you're not playing well, it's really easy to just get off track and, focus on yourself and be selfish. But, I felt like the team as a whole was just very selfless and, sacrificing for each other. And that's what made it so special.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear.
We got and for the people out there that don't know, Anthony spoke to the team. Coach Peichel brought Anthony in just to, I guess, talk to the team about how he dealt with social media in the outside world as he made his national championship run all of last year, and he went off social media. I have a couple questions in the chat, but Ant, you want to just touch on that, kind of the message you sent to those guys, and really because we have a lot of not only fans, but we got a lot of kids out here that are listening and follow. So this is pretty important. It's always something we have a lot of dialogue on with our guys, the social media, and I had one with our incoming guys today. So it's really, really important. I thought your message was awesome.
Yeah.
Just want to touch on what you told those guys.
For me, in that senior year, where I was at in life, man, going through Rutgers, man. I saw one kid in my class that I came in. He was like, Geo knows will know what I mean by this. You might be a little confused, Goody. He was like 2014 to 2016 at Rutgers was a movie, and it really was, man. Like the scene around College Ave around night times, and just the social scene was a movie, man. It was just crazy times, and
I know.
And I got wrapped up in it a little bit for sure. And that senior season, I got off of social media because I knew how I had to go. I had to compete my best. I knew how I was going to prepare best, and social media was just kind of toxic for me at the time. It was creating a lot of distractions, whether it was just not the right motivation to go be a champion when it was time to go wrestle on the mat. So for me, the best and easiest thing to do is just get off it and remove it from my life. And it wasn't like just because I wanted to be number one. Of course, I wanted to be number one, but it was just to be the best wrestler I could be at that time. And I wanted to be a national champion really bad, and I dedicated a lot of my life towards that. But it wasn't going to be the end of the world if I didn't accomplish that. But getting off of social media was just a toxic thing for me for the wrestling environment at Rutgers at that time. And I just needed to be able to compete my best. And to do that, I just kind of removed myself from the people that were really high, the people that were really low about it. I just removed myself completely. And I put myself in the best mental situation to go compete the best I could.
Gio, are you able to do that this season?
Yeah, after he spoke to us, I tried to take it very serious because that's something that definitely affected me, freshman and sophomore year, especially we weren't winning as many games. So there was, twice as many people telling us what we should do, what we shouldn't do, how things should go. And I think just the most important thing is that you need to listen to the people that are on the inside. People who are on the outside, they have no idea how much you train every day. They have no idea. Just about everything. They have no idea what's going on, on the inside. And it's cool that they care. Fans obviously care about their programs, and that's great. But, at the end of the day, you got to listen to the people that are on the inside. And, I definitely tried to stay off social media. I still had Instagram, but I stayed off Twitter, which I felt like was the most, hardest thing where people will come at you the most. And so that was definitely something that helped me a lot. When I had a bad game, I wasn't on Twitter looking at all the bad things people were saying. And then when I had a good game, I wasn't looking at everyone telling me I was the greatest to ever come through Rutgers. So, that was really good for me. And, I stressed that to my teammates as well. I told everyone I was going to get off Twitter and they should try the same thing. I have no idea if everyone did it or not, but, it was really good for me, and I'm sure it worked for other guys too.
Yeah, I think it was a great when I did it, it felt like relieving. Like when I was wrestling and competing during that time, it was like just go compete the best you can. When it was time to compete, it wasn't like, let's look on Twitter and see what people are saying about Rutgers wrestling versus Michigan tonight. It's just like, oh, who am I wrestling? Cool. My game plan's, I'm going to kill this kid. Nice. I'm going to get a tech pin. The mindset just changes a little bit to more positive thoughts instead of more negative, fighting the negative thoughts away. You're just constantly positive.
Yeah, we got a comment. You were the 414th ranked recruit coming out. So look at where you've come. That's a credit to your work ethic. That's awesome. We got a bunch of people asking how you and this has got to be from my sister. How do you lead your team and get their mind right as a leader coming off a tough loss, going into a tough practice to prepare for the next game? Because as we all know, the Big Ten, they don't care whether you win or lose. It's on to the next one. So how do you guys go about that? And I kind of know how Ant went about it, but how do you go about that?
Yeah, you kind of just said it. It's on to the next one, and that's the most important thing. I feel like in basketball, it's very important to not not look into the past, whether it's a missed shot or a lost game. Every game is a new start. And, we're trying. Our mindset was we're trying to go 1-0 every single game, and you have to look at it. You can't really. Look at what happened the past couple games. That's kind of when you start getting in your own head and you get into a little slump. And I think the most important thing is just, we're focused on winning as a unit. We're not focused on how many points one guy can get. We're not focused on, individual things. Basketball's such a team sport where as long as you're focused on one true goal, and that's just to win the game, then you put yourself in a great position. And it just goes back to the same thing I was saying earlier, where it's just, it's just a mental thing. Whether you're playing good or bad, you can do so many different things to affect the game. And I broke my thumb in the middle of the season, and I was playing with a broken thumb at a certain point where I literally had like a hard piece of clay on my thumb. Like I couldn't even really use my left hand. But I told Coach Peichel, like I can do other things to affect the game. I can play defense. I can lead these guys on the court. And we got a couple of wins while I had that broken thumb, and I felt like, I did some things that affected the game and helped the team win. That was the most important thing, even though I wasn't scoring or, doing fantastic, like spectacular things on the court.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Looking at your guys' team this year, man, you guys were like great team. I went to 2 games. Just like what you were kind of talking about before, someone's having a bad game, but you're positive, encouraging everyone else on the team, making good plays, whether it's an assist instead of shooting the ball or something. But everyone's kind of just working as a unit in your team. And we got a question in the comments. It just says, with right now, with everything being so busy, how do you stay close with teammates, support one another, and stay busy today with all that's going on? You answered already, kind of being busy. You're shooting and stuff still, but how are you staying in touch with your teammates right now, or are you at all, or is Coach reaching out, giving you guys certain workouts to be hitting on your own?
Yeah, I definitely try to stay in touch with everybody, just checking in, making sure that everybody's good. And then we actually have team meetings every week. We have a team meeting right after the show. So we'll have –
I thought you could use it maybe to get out of it a little bit.
Yeah. We got some right after. So just, where everyone checks in, it's the whole staff, it's not just the players, it's the coaching staff, our academic advisor, our weight trainer. We got everybody in there. So it's cool just for everyone to just check in real quick, see how everyone's doing. And it's a weekly thing. So that's really nice. But, I definitely try to check in on everybody. I feel like that's kind of my job as a captain, just make sure that everyone's good. And, it's a lot bigger than basketball, just making sure that their family's healthy and stuff like that.
That's awesome. I have a couple still left, and this could take us a whole bunch of different places. But I was obviously firsthand. I got to see the way the university kind of treated. I was around a little bit. I first started after Shiano in 2006. So I got in 2007. So I saw how big the football was after beating Louisville, and I was at that game. I was obviously firsthand with Suriano and Ashnault, the way they were treated when they got back from the national tournament, right? We were starving to have a national champion in any sport.
Yeah.
But what you guys were going through all year was sick, was great, right? Are we going to be in the tournament? Are we not going to be in the tournament?
Yeah.
Then we win one late, and that's a lot of pressure, right? That's night in and night out. And then you talk about social media. The minute you lose a game, everyone's off the bandwagon. Oh, we stink, be in the NIT, blah, blah, blah. And then, boom, we win late in the year. I forget who it was. We beat somebody late in the year. Now, all this pressure, and you're going to the tournament. You're going to the tournament. And I know that's the goal. And eventually it's going to be, let's be a Sweet 16 team. Let's be a Final Four team. Let's win the tournament. But just to make the tournament, and I just saw the way that university was ready to rally like I haven't seen in really a long, long time. So just take us through what that's like with your teammates and your staff, and how is Peichel? Is he mild-mannered? Is it just stay the course? I know you're going to say one game at a time, but let's not go coach speak and athlete speak. Let's be real, right? This place is bumping. This place is bumping. It's getting fired up, and we're going to make the tournament, and then boom, it's canceled. So where are you at?
So I'll go before it when we had lost a couple of games. Spirits were definitely down. You know what I mean? It was tough. It was tough for people because we felt like that we deserved to be in the tournament, but we weren't winning. Those key road games. We had lost a couple on the road by like 1 or 2 points, and that was tough for everybody. But senior captain Akwazi, myself, senior Shaq Carter, we kind of just said like we're right where we want to be. Believe in ourselves, believe in each other, and that everything will work out. And we won those last 2 games against Maryland and Purdue. And after that Purdue game, I can't even I don't even know how Purdue. So just a little background. Purdue is the hardest place to play in the Big Ten for basketball.
That was one of my questions in the
By
quick hitters
far,
a little bit.
by far, like the hardest place to play in the Big Ten for basketball. And, you know, it's just so loud. You know, before then, I had lost by 30 points every game at Purdue. Like it wasn't even close. So that in itself was just special just to win there. But that feeling after the game was just so different. Like everyone knew we were in the tournament, and you know we had worked so hard, and the journey had started way before the season. You know, it had started in the summer. You know, just hard work, everything that we put into it. You know, we finally got everything back. So that feeling was just so special, and yeah, I'd say that was really the emotions after that.
So then it gets cut out from under you. Like, what is there a meeting? Is there a phone call? Is this? I know you guys are out at the Big Ten. That gets canceled. Is it on the airplane back? Like, I'm dying to be a bug on the. You know, where's the team? I would love to be in that room and just how you handle. And I want to know how Pikel handles it.
Yeah, you know, it was tough. So we were warming up against Michigan for the Big Ten tournament. There's no fans in the building. They had already said there wasn't going to be fans to watch. And there's like 10 minutes till game time. And they just tell us to get off the court. And, you know, at that point, you know, guys are already pretty much thinking that the tournament is going to get canceled as well. The NCAA tournament is going to get canceled. So we're in the locker room and, you know, Coach Michael basically comes in. You could tell that he's, you know, really upset too. And he's basically just saying, I love you guys. Like we did what we were supposed to do. You know, we put ourselves in the right position. He's basically just saying he hopes that they can figure out a way to get the NCAA tournament to still play. But basically it was a lot of hugs. It was, you know, there was some crying, you know, it was very emotional.
Emotional. Yeah.
Coach Michael did a great job though of just explaining, you know, how much he cares about us as people, and, you know, how much he respects, you know, all the work that we put in, everything that we did to get us where we're at. And then we found out we had gone on a plane later that day. As soon as we landed, like our phones were on airplane mode, obviously. So as soon as we landed, we found out that the tournament was canceled as well. And that was tough. You know, it was really tough. You know, I really felt bad for the seniors. You know, the whole reason I wanted to make the tournament was for the seniors. I felt like they deserved it. You know, especially a guy like Joey Downs, if you guys know who that is. You know, 4-year guy, walk on, comes to practice early. You know, leaves late, and he's the best student on the team. Just a lot of sacrifice. You know, he knew every day that he wasn't gonna come in the game and play, but you know, he still did the little things to help the team. And you know, it was just stuff like that helped us get to where we were. So I felt like, you know, he deserved some payback for that. And yeah, it was a lot of emotions. We went to the locker room, same thing, a lot of tears, a lot of hugging. But you know, we're bonded forever now because of that. You know what I mean? We're closer than ever because of that situation. And you know, I wouldn't change anything about the season. The season was amazing. You know, and you know, you can control what you can control, and that's just something that was out of our control. And you know, it sucks, but it's life right now, and it's a lot bigger than basketball. You know, this is something very serious that is affecting everybody. It's not just affecting us.
Yeah. I got in the comments here, your mom played basketball at MIT, so she's pretty smart.
Yeah.
How big of an influence was she in your basketball development early on?
Yeah, my mom used to always beat me one-on-one when I was really little. Mainly because she was bigger than me. That's the only reason why. But yeah, I mean, she was not even really just in a basketball sense. She always kind of let me make my own decisions. But the greatest thing was that she was just very supportive. No matter what it was. And, you know, I knew that being from New Hampshire, it was going to be harder for me to make it. So I would come up with like these crazy schemes of how to like get my name out. And she would just be like, okay, let's do it. You know, she would drive me to Boston for games. I went to a private school in Cambridge, Massachusetts, because I felt like I could do better out there. And she let me do it. Like it was little things and mind you, I was like a 5'3" 8th grader. Like I was small, and I'm telling my mom I want to play basketball, and she's kind of looking at me crazy, but she's like, all right, let's do it. And so that really just helped me. And yeah, I mean, she was just so supportive, and like you said, she went to MIT. She's way too smart for her own good. Downstairs, like writing textbooks right now. But
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so she really helped me just, you know, believe in myself. You know, seeing that, seeing how much she believed in me, it really helped me believe in myself. So.
Well, she did a heck of a job, man. You guys are like so similar. It's scary, just the paths you've taken and what you believe in this athletic department, this university. I sat with you at Midnight Madness, and I mean, Anthony, I know his story so well now, and the reason why he chose Rutgers. But I asked you, and I don't even know if you remember this. I said, and I know college hoops. I love college hoops. I follow it. I don't know as far as a prospect, an NBA prospect, but I kind of asked you, would you ever leave here early? Would you ever get out of here? And what's the plans with pro? And you flat out told me, I'm here because I want Rutgers to be great. And Anthony kind of says the same thing all the time. Clearly, that's what you're doing. Just you mentioning the seniors and how important that was for you. But you think about that every day? Is that something that drives you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I kind of said it earlier, you know, I love the idea of being underrated, and I love the idea of just, you know, making your mark. And, you know, Rutgers had been down for so long, and Coach Michael came to me with this vision that, you know, we could do something special. And, you know, I just believed it. Like, I just, you know, I believed it right away. You know, I love the idea of it. And, yeah, like you said, you know, I want Rutgers to be great. You know, and even when I'm gone, you know, I'm still trying to get kids in the class of 21 in high school trying to come to Rutgers. I'm not even going to be here. You know what I mean? So that, to me, it's about making your mark, making a legacy, and you know, keeping Rutgers strong. You know, I don't want it just to be good while I'm here. I want it to be great when I'm gone too, so I can come back and you know, watch them, you know, beat guys at the rack too. And I just feel like Rutgers deserves it. You know, I see Rutgers fans, you know, even when we're winning, they're still finding a way to think that we may not make the tournament, you know, because they've been through so much, honestly. And I feel like Rutgers Nation really deserves just, you know, a winning program. And I feel like the guys deserve it too. You know, we worked so hard, and I feel like everyone just deserves it. So that's definitely my goal, just to make Rutgers great.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I feel that too. You know, like the student body, even like any sport will have like a lot of momentum going, and then all of a sudden one big loss, and it's like, well, like you saw that coming. Like it's like,
wow. It's Rutgers.
Like, why'd you see that coming? What do you mean you saw that coming?
It definitely happens. It definitely happens.
A big reason.
I got a fun one here for both of you. And believe me, I get this answer. I feel it every single time I'm in the arena. But why the rack? Why is that place? It's hard to wrestle there. It's hard to play basketball. Why is it so? I know why it's special, but why is it so intimidating? Why can't teams come in there and win?
Do you want to start, Anthony, or you want me to start?
All right, man. You're the guest.
All right. He's trying to think of an answer. That's all right.
He's never lost there. He's never lost there.
Oh yeah, so you should. You're a pro at this. You know, I honestly, I don't know why it gets so loud. I want to say it has something to do with the shape. You know, but it's, you know, it's really compact. You know, the fans are crazy. You know, I've been to a couple wrestling matches, but you know, for basketball, it just seems like the fans are going insane. You know, just and that's something that's really cool. I felt like our play style kind of helped it. You know, we had a lot of like lobs, alley-oop dunks, you know what I mean? So I felt like that kind of helped fans, you know, act out a little bit. And but definitely the shape, I feel like the fans just kind of like, it seems like they're kind of right on top of you, and you really can't hear much on the court when they're really loud. And I think that's really tough for opposing teams, because, you know, it kind of just gets them distraught. They don't really know what they're running. They can't really hear each other, and we use that to our advantage.
Yeah, I'd agree. The shape. I think also that it's like New Jersey was just starving, for a good college program.
Sure.
Good. I mean, wrestling is huge in high school in New Jersey, so they were starving for good wrestling, man. I remember when I was a freshman, we wrestled Iowa and Penn State at home, and they probably both brought more New Jersey fans of their schools than we had of Rutgers fans. And it definitely changed by the time I was a senior. But I think in general, New Jersey was just starving for good college sports. So the energy they brought, and then I don't know when they made alcohol legal in college venues, but I think that helps a lot. I mean, I went to the two college basketball games this season. Man, the fans are like 100% the whole time. It's
for sure.
Atmosphere for sure. And wrestling, I think they were just more starving for good college wrestling, and when we provided good entertainment, they kept coming back for more. And when you keep providing a good service or a good service, like a good team, that even though we weren't winning all the time, we were competing hard, and we prided ourselves on competing really hard with the best teams, no matter who they were, whether we were 10th or ranked 20th, we were coming out and we were wrestling hard against them. So people respected that, and they kept coming back for more.
I got a couple before we let you go, because I know you're busy. You're going to get on with your team, man, and we are so appreciative of you coming on. But a couple quick hitters, you could both get involved. These are fun. But we started talking about arenas. You mentioned Purdue. Do you know the name of that arena?
Mackey Arena.
Mackey Arena. You know, I'm a big trivia guy. I can give you every arena. Big trivia guy. So but you're saying that's the hardest place to play?
Yeah, for sure. For
sure. Anthony, what was the hardest place for you to wrestle?
I'd say Iowa.
You know the name of that arena, Geo?
It wasn't even full. Like
Carver Hawkeye Arena, I think.
Carver Hawkeye. That's always fun.
Fans were so personal, man. Like they knew things about my life somehow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They'll do that.
Jordan, LeBron.
I got to go with Jordan.
I got Jordan too. We did this.
Nice. I didn't expect that. This generation's all about LeBron now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge LeBron fan.
Hopefully this doesn't circulate to him.
If you go to the Lakers, you will be. Biggest shot you ever hit?
And
it doesn't have to be this year. It could be as a sixth grader.
Oh no, it's got to be Purdue. It's got to be at Purdue. The last game of the season. If I make the shot, we're going to the tournament. If I miss, maybe go to the tournament, maybe not. And that was definitely the biggest shot of my career for sure.
If you got one shot, not you, and you could give two answers. You could call a teammate. That's an easy one. Somebody's got to make the last shot in college basketball.
Okay.
You get to pick it. Who's taking it?
I can pick anyone in the world?
You can pick anybody from Gonzaga to Duke to Rutgers.
Oh, so it has to be a college player, though. It has to be a college player.
College player.
Probably, you guys may not know who he is, but Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois. He made probably just as many clutch shots as I did, maybe more. And it just seemed like every time he was in a clutch situation, he finished it off strong. So I'd probably go with him.
How about your teammate? If it's not you taking the last shot, who's taking it?
Ooh.
This is an opportunity. I don't want you to get buried here. Like you might.
Yeah. No, I mean, everyone made clutch plays. I'd probably go with Ron. Probably go with Ron Harper.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to say stuck in quarantine because this is going to end, but you're stuck on an island, right? And this could be a while. This could be 6 months. Who knows? Mm-hmm. You're allowed to have 3 people who you're bringing. And Ann, I want your answer on this too. 3 people you're bringing to the island.
Oh, I'm bringing my mom. She's smart. She knows how to cook. She should definitely help me get through it. Probably bring Montez Mathis, one of my teammates. He's really funny guy. And man, trying to think of a third. What would be a smart third option? I'm gonna bring a pretty friend. I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you guys. If there's only 3 of us, I gotta bring a pretty friend with me too.
There you go. I was waiting for you. You're smart. Where are you going, Ed?
Yo, I'm cracking up because my girlfriend heard this and she keeps peeking her head around the corner. Yeah, she's giving me the side eye right now. So definitely her. I mean, she was my first option either way.
You gotta say that now. You gotta say.
I don't know. Other than that, I mean, I got a pretty good situation right now. I got 2 other roommates, and it's like they're 2 of my better best friends that I had at Rutgers that I wrestled with. So I mean, I'm in a great situation. This is kind of like a mock trial for me. I think this is the crew I'd bring with me into battle. But we also have a dog. Does that count? We got a new dog. Can I bring the dog?
You could bring a dog. Yeah.
Bring the dog.
I would bring I guess now I bring my wife. I'll bring the wife. Bobby Bowden. I don't know if you know who he is. He used to coach at Florida State, football coach. And probably Don Mattingly. I'd bring those 2. maybe Mark Messier, just because of their minds and how they went about the game. So I like to pick brains. So that's where I'm at. Last one, favorite hoops team growing up?
My favorite college team was Michigan. My favorite NBA team was the Boston Celtics.
Oh yeah, because you're close there, right?
Yeah.
So I have this argument with Anthony's roommate. I think Larry Bird should be mentioned with Jordan, LeBron. I have this argument all the time with him. Larry Bird was a stone cold killer. That guy was great. That
Yeah,
guy,
I'm definitely way too young to agree or disagree, but I've heard many people say that, and yeah, I mean I've heard he was a really great player. I'm definitely too young to have an input on it, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I got a question.
last one. Oh, go ahead, Ant.
Was there ever a time at Rutgers or in high school or whenever that you like went into that huddle last play down a point or two, and you're like, I want the ball, like, and or coach was like going with this, and you're like, look at your teammate, you're like, nah, give me the ball, or did you ever call for that?
Yeah, probably too many times. Probably too many times. Yeah, I mean, usually the end of the game, I kind of just tell Coach Michael, just let me get it. And you know, but it you know, it's funny, but he really trusts me in that situation. That's rare. You know, it's rare for my teammates to just be like, yeah, just give it to Geo, and that's rare for the coach to just, all right, just do your thing. And it's a really good thing. But I definitely probably too many times where I'm just like, yeah, coach, just give me the ball, I got it. And
Who's the best dunker on your team?
Ooh, best dunker. We have a lot of good dunkers. That's one thing that, you know, I think we take pride in dunking. I would probably say Montez Mathis. You know, he's just every time he dunks, it's something explosive. It's on somebody's, and he has just that meanness about him where he's not really afraid of anybody at the rim. So I'd probably say him.
Yeah, I got one.
Go ahead.
One more for you. Where are you seeing Geo Baker in 5 years?
Oh, that's good.
5 years, you know, hopefully in the NBA, you know, playing pro basketball. You know, to go a little bit further, I want to be a coach when I'm done playing. But 5 years from now, I definitely want to be playing pro basketball, NBA or overseas, you know, wherever it takes me. But definitely basketball.
Do you have any idea or interest in that level of where you'd want to coach one day?
Yeah, I definitely want to be a college coach. I tell Coach Mike all the time that I need a job when I'm done. So,
Who owns the rack? Who owns the rack more, you or Ashnault?
Oh, I gotta say Anthony, man. National champion. I gotta be humble on this one. I don't think I own it yet. National champion,
man.
You still got some time, man.
You got another year though, so I'm nervous. You've had a lot.
I'm coming for it, for sure. I'm coming for it.
Memories already there, so I mean,
yo, that step back challenge went viral. That was awesome. Everything you're doing for our Rutgers community has been great, man. Yeah. You're a super humble guy. This is great. Even just getting to know you over this last week and talking with you. I knew you were that way. What people may not know, they may now, but we share the same facility. So it has helped our wrestling program so much being around you guys. I hope it's helped your program being around our guys.
For sure.
It's been awesome. The new facility's been sick just so we can have that. We've never had that before. So we're fired up, man. We're proud of you. You're the man. We love what you've done and your teammates for Rutgers, and we appreciate you giving us some time today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. This has been great. You know, and shout out Rutgers Nation. You know, always supporting. You know, I don't really know how many people are watching right now, but you know,
it'll be a lot.
You know, it's great. So I really appreciate it, guys. And the facility's been awesome. And being close to you guys, you know, having a guy like Anthony come in and talk to the team, that was great for us. You know, I think it really helped a lot of guys' mindsets, honestly. So yeah, just really appreciative and thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Good job, man. Take care. Stay safe. All right, Geo?
All right, you too.
All right, my man.
See you soon.
That was awesome, dude.
Yeah, that was good.
Dude, that went so quick.
No, I've really never gotten a chance to chat with him like that and get to know him. Like that was cool to get to know him. Definitely very similar, man. Me and him. I think we're gonna be friends for a long time after that conversation, to be honest.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well, let's remind people they could come on face to face. We still got some time before we get off here by pressing the green button on that FanCred, the FanCred app down at the bottom. Yeah, you know, this is a pretty cool story. I know you're a big Moe Kehe guy. the freshman that came in. I am too. You know, he reached out to us right away the first week he was on campus in school and wanted to come in the wrestling room and just watch us train. And I was like, this guy's going to be special. And just being around all of them, man, Harper and those guys and Shaq, and you know, they eat on that second floor where the wrestling programs, where we're situated right outside our offices, and our wrestling room is the CAF. So we get to see those guys quite a bit, and we share a sauna with the coaches. They don't get in there much with us, but Shoes does. Shoes gets in there with us. But there's some good guys. But I know you're a big Moe Kehe fan as well. What's your relationship like with him?
It was just cool, man. Like, he came that second week maybe of school as a freshman, and he's got not only the confidence but the courage. Like, you're just figuring out. You're not even figuring out yet where classes are. You're getting lost still. You're taking the wrong buses at this point. And he's got the courage to come into the wrestling room and ask to, like, pretty much get, like, can I shadow with Anthony Ashnault and Nick Soriano? Like, to me, man, I'm going to help a kid like that every single day. Like, those are the kids that I want to be helping. And, I mean, it's still funny to me. Like, I feel young still. And when kids ask me for, like, guidance like that, like, I still feel a little bit of me feels funny. Like, I still feel like a student. I don't feel like the teacher yet, but it's cool to give back, man. Whatever knowledge I could give from my experiences, I think it goes a long way, especially that I feel that way. I still feel like a student, like I'm training hard still. I have a lot of goals I want to accomplish. So to be able to relate with him and still give him my experience, I think it went a long way. And then he made an immediate impact in that lineup, in that basketball team. So it was cool to have that relationship with him, have his phone number, be like, let's grab lunch sometime soon, kind of things like that. And then all of a sudden he's immediately making an impact on the team. And he was really appreciative of it too.
It was funny. He's like, you know, I just want to pick these guys' mind, pick their brains, just their competitive nature. And I was like, all right, well, instead of just like setting up a meeting, right? Because I'm not going to be able to get Soriano to set up a meeting with him. I said, just come in the practice room. And you know how Nick comes in the room, headsets are on, and you know, he talked to you. He talked to a bunch of the guys, but then he was watching practice. Nick comes walking in, and it was preseason, so it's kind of an open room. And you know how he's just so intense. And Moe Kehe was like, "Yo, that dude's too intense. I won't go near him." I was like, "Yeah, you're probably better off." And you know, Nick, it's beginning of September. He's ready to fight and scrap with someone, which is cool. So he got to see all of it, you know. And then our guys reached out. We sent our guys over kind of one-on-one, and now they have a relationship. And it's cool to see what he's doing, man. No, it's definitely
it's good to have that relationship as athletes too. I feel like the facility closes that gap. We weren't ever really that tight with the basketball team, and I don't know why because it's the same season. When you're growing up, you think like basketball and wrestling are like opposite sports, but a lot of similarities, as you saw from Geo's mindset and the way he goes about his business, man. A lot of overlapping themes in what we talk about every day. So, I mean, in my mind, it just makes both sports elevated at Rutgers a little bit.
Here's what I'm figuring out. Well, I figured it out. I think I have it figured out. It not only is it an incredible work ethic and a championship lifestyle, you got to believe. You got to really, really believe, and not only yourself, but the environment. You got to believe everything you're doing is right, and you could bring people with you. You could choose not to, but you got to believe in the situation you're in, and believe it could get better, and believe that you're going to be great. And that's clearly what I'm getting out of, even from Frazier and Edgar, obviously Edgar, but you and Geo, that's it. It's a belief in the way what you're going to put out is what you're going to get back. So
yeah, there was
not rocket.
There was an underlying theme of like both of us coming to Rutgers, you know, like the moment my brother went to Rutgers, even kind of like as he was making that transition and going to SKWC as like an 8th grader, just being in that environment, like it wasn't hard to buy into what you guys were doing. I immediately believed it. And he said the same thing about Coach Peichel when he came to his house. He believed it right away. And that's where that drive comes from, when you believe in it and you got not only individual that believes in it, but you got a collaboration of a team, like a coach and a couple athletes and a couple coaches. It's like you start picking up little pieces of the puzzle here and there as the years go by. And now all of a sudden you're in a good position.
We got Mark backstage, but before we go to him, I'll answer a couple of these quick hitters. Why Bowden over Tressel? That was a toss-up. I could have absolutely went Tressel. Both very, very spiritual. I went Bowden because Tressel's an Ohio State Buckeye. At least that's the way I see him. And we're in the Big Ten. I can't go with him. Will we see Ryan Vulock? Do you think we'll see Ryan Volok? He's doing great. His back is so much better. He's gotten some good help with that, and you will absolutely see Ryan Volok. He's going to be special this upcoming season. And I guess we got Mark is not backstage, but he's on a video.
Maybe you got to allow the camera on the top of the screen, Mark.
It says I'm live. Can you hear me?
No, you're live. Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Cool.
He said he wouldn't be on.
Oh, gotcha. Hey, thanks for doing this, first of all, because I need my Rutgers fix, and I'm just holed up at home, working from home, and it's tough. So this is my first time on. It's just awesome. I was going to ask Geo a question, but, it'd be interesting to hear your take. I was just perplexed that at the end of the year, at the end of the season, the selection committee didn't go ahead with selecting the teams, at least, that would make the tournament so you could hang the banner and get what you deserved or you earned. I was really surprised. I was wondering what even you guys would think about that. I mean, wouldn't you want that recognition for that hard work? And then also for both of you, I'd love to know who the big personality is on the team the past few years. Who's that comedian, that funny guy, because you just look like a bunch of animals out there and so focused. I don't know who's like that one guy on the team that keeps everyone laughing.
Go ahead. Ant, why don't you take the
less serious-hearted one? Less serious?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the funny guys on the team, I'd say when I first got to school, Anthony Perotti was definitely the funny guy on the team, whether it was crossing the line or not. To me, like, it was the kind of humor that I thought was hilarious. I really was attracted to the humor. We became friends through it. Other guys on the team that are current team, I'm not as close with, but I mean, Matt Karenni just transferred, but he was definitely a funny individual. Coach, you got to input on the current team, maybe Nick Santos.
Yeah, kind of
Nick,
who they
maybe.
Say that again.
Santos.
Yeah, there's some guys they gravitate to. It's kind of like spread out. It's not. Yeah, Matt was super competitive. Perotti was super competitive. Like, we play handball, and that was a big deal in our program.
Their competitiveness was funny because they were so all out and extravagant.
Yeah.
How about the coaches?
Crazy.
Any of them goofballs?
Oh, they're competitive just as much, man. When we're playing, handball,
we have a good time. We have a good time with our guys for sure. And
I'd say Goodale by far, and Leonardis, them two together is funnier than any guy on our team.
We kind of get at it. But to answer your question on the NCAA, Mark, this is an awesome call too. Thanks, man. I absolutely believe they should have named the tournament the 64-man or 64-team bracket or 66, whatever it is now. But they should have absolutely done that and recognized those teams. That's something you could have really fell back on. In wrestling, they went as far, and I wasn't a fan of this at first. They went as far as not giving All-Americans out. So if you were top 8 seeded at the national tournament, you're a first-team All-American. If you were 9th through 12th, you were a second-team All-American. If you were 13 through 16, you were a third-team All-American. So I was kind of against that at first because I know what goes into that tournament, and I've seen top seeds not place in some years. So there's so much that goes into the tournament. But going back at it now and thinking about it, it's cool that Sammy Alvarez is considered an All-American. Nick Aguilar is considered an All-American. So I absolutely believe they should have drew out that bracket. And it gives you a whole nother week, right, to discuss and talk, get your mind off COVID-19. That's what I would have done. I don't know why they did it. I don't know why the NCAA chose not to do that. But that would have been good for certainly the news writers, sports writers, and all those guys. So I'm not sure why they didn't do that.
Agreed. Thanks, guys.
All right, man.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
I got a question in the comments from Mike here. Anthony, did you joke with Jim Jordan about beating Micah for the title?
Oh, yes.
When I was at the White House, Jim Jordan was like Trump's right-hand man just because Jim Jordan was a national champ wrestler. So they just had him with introducing the teams. And Jim Jordan actually broke the ice with me and was like, "Hey, Mr. Trump, this is the guy that beat my nephew 3 times this year and won the national title against him." So, I mean, from that, it was like I didn't even have to joke with him. He kind of opened it up by just embarrassing himself. So it was just like not embarrassing himself, but just like I didn't even know what to say. I was just like, "Oh yeah, like, yeah, great year. It was a great year. Like your nephew's really tough." But
so my mom my mom is super into politics. She does not like Trump. She doesn't like the Republicans. I don't want to get into that, but we have fights all the time. And now she doesn't like Jim Jordan. She didn't know who Jim Jordan was. And I said, he's this, he's that, he's this. I said, oh, yeah, was he like, because he recruited me when he was at Ohio State. I go, did you like him then? She's like, what? He recruited? I go, yeah, you sat with him. You jumped it up with him. You had a great time with him. You love the guy. But now, here we are, whatever, 30 years later, you don't like him anymore. She's like, F you, Scott, whatever, F you. So it's crazy. That guy's a nice guy, man, and his kids are great kids, and they did a great job. I know they're super tight with the Pritzloffs. They wrestled for Donnie, and Donnie has a great relationship with Jim Jordan. But that was cool. I thought he did that. He did a good job with that. Why don't you tell the fans what your brothers? Can we do that or no? Maybe we should stay away from that.
With what?
The name of his son, or you want to stay away from that?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they're still gonna go with the name Micah as their son. Yeah, my brother and my sister-in-law, they're having a baby. That's the due date's May 16th, and they want to name the son Micah. And they came to me. They were like asking, kind of like not for permission, of course, but just like, hey, like we want to name our son Micah. What do you think? Kind of like just ran it by me, and I at first I was like, that's cool, like yeah, like I mean, but in the moment, what am I gonna say? Like, no, I don't want you to name my kid Micah because I beat him 3 times. Like, I don't care. I don't really care like that. But it was really funny to me. I was just like, oh, that's a small world, you know. But in my mind, bro, that means nothing, man. This is just wrestling, like.
Yeah.
Especially that I know Micah a little bit, just getting to know him around the weigh-ins and the tournaments, man. And he's a great kid. Great kid.
Yep.
So to have a name like the worst thing about names when I think about names when people are picking names is like when I think about that name, like I don't want to be thinking about that kid that I grew up with that has that name or something like that. And
so can you imagine? Can you imagine what people like? Everyone like Micah's an awesome dude. Can you imagine what people? When they were competing against Donnie, what from the outside, what you're thinking, this is like the nicest guy in the world.
For sure.
And they probably just think, oh man, he is so intense and blah, blah, blah. And no, these wrestlers are like, they're good dudes, man. I think there's a genuine cult, right? Because of how hard everybody works and trains. So I think there's that cult behind it.
Yeah. Donnie's like memorizing though to like families. Like, I think they don't see his intensity. He like lightens it up when the mom and the sisters are there and like the whole family, and then like you tell them the first month you come back from school, like I went with Donnie a couple of times. It's another level. It's like Donnie, like he's such a good guy. Like, no. You're like, oh, you don't know. You don't know.
You don't know. I know. What's great is it says Karen from Tom's River. That's my mom is backstage. We are not taking that call. There's not.
Come on.
No way. No way. We are finishing this up. This has been awesome, dude. This has been great. We gotta. I mean, if the fans want it, we'll do it again. Maybe we'll put out another poll. We thought about Anthony and I spoke, and we thought about maybe we do like every 15 minutes to make them shorter. Maybe at 12:15 we bring on Pikel, 12:30 Shiano, 12:45 whoever. Just go like that. Maybe there's some other people out there, and I don't know if we can get those coaches on. Maybe it's just you and I love to do this. Maybe they're not that interested, but. Maybe we do something like that next week where we get 4 or 5 small guests to come on and just shoot it with them a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that idea a lot too. Gives a lot of different perspective, and I'm a big fan of the way Ariel Helwani does his. He does it like on Instagram and ESPN Live, and he'll have like a bunch of different MMA fighters on just like that. He'll have a trainer, a guy in wrestling on like Bo Nickel, then all of a sudden like Frankie Yeager on like 15 minutes later. It's really cool, and it gives different perspectives on all different people are in different situations of their life. So just a lot of different perspective. I got a comment a question in the comments real quick. I'll answer. After the Classic match, I held up 10 points. Was it spontaneous or was it planned? It was definitely spontaneous. I never think about a reaction that I'm going to do after a match or a celebration. I'm really always focused on my game plan and how I'm going to execute it and how I'm going to prepare my mind if negative thoughts come in, when I'm going to combat it with positive. And that's where my mindset's at when I'm going to wrestle. I never thought about a celebration. it was just something that came in my mind when I looked up. I was like, I thought it was 4 back points. That's what I was really thinking. I thought I got a 4 swipe to end the match. It should have been 12-2 or 11-2 at the time. And then I was like, dang, 9-2. And then I was like, oh, I got riding time. I got a major. I was like, that's 10 points. And then I just thought about it on the spot.
That was sick. I was going to ask Geo, because you hear when we throw up that video, we've thrown it up recently the last couple of weeks, and they kind of, the argument is what was louder, the rack when he hit his shot. I think it was against Northwestern, or when you beat Kolodzic, right? So obviously the wrestling fans all think, actually a lot of sports fans think you versus Kolodzic was pretty loud. Yeah. That got loud. It was deafening in there, man. Hard to hear. Yeah. Hard to hear. And I'm amazed how those guys, even how you guys can concentrate, right? And then you have coaches like us, we're yelling. What are we yelling? It's not like you can hear us. It's too loud, right? But it's just normal to yell.
There's times
it's hard to hear.
There's times you hear it though. There is times you hear it, and I think as a wrestling athlete that there was times you probably heard it, and that's deep down. Like you wouldn't do it if you knew it didn't affect outcomes at all. And, it's funny. Like I've talked about it before in these podcasts. Like I'm in the little kid scene. Like you're yelling because sometimes you're coaching them through positions, man, and it's funny to see it all the way up to the college level. Like you still are doing the same stuff, even though the kids are so advanced. You still are yelling things that you think are helping them, which may help, they may not, but you want to give that chance.
The best is trying to teach technique on the way when you go out of bounds till you get to the middle. We're trying to teach technique. Like that's going to work. So, but anyway, man, let's keep doing this. This is awesome. It's fun. You're the man. Yeah. Love it. Let's get together this week too to train again.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. We'll stay 6 feet again and we'll get it done.
Yep. Throw that video up.
I will.
Or maybe not. Maybe keep me out.
You're right in the middle. I was talking. We should have had you on the end so we could have cropped.
I know. People listening and following could watch the old guy struggle.
You should be proud about
There's a little fight there.
How you compete there, how much fight you still got at your age. You should be definitely proud.
Yeah. All right, my man. Tell Simmons, hey, take care of Simmons. I know the Eagles had a terrible draft last night. Take care of him.
Yeah, I'll try to help him out.
I'll see you, buddy. Later. We'll see you.